So we've got the G87 and we want to four-wheel drive convert it, and we want to go to Texas and make it one of the fastest BMWs in the world. So the boys are on their way up now. This will be the first time Reese has actually seen the car since dropping it off, so I'm excited to show him progress. We've got the engine going back in now with the gearbox, all the transfer case, everything mounted up with the drive shafts, everything ready to go back in. And yeah, super excited to see what he thinks of the build. We've still got a long way to go. Mammoth task really, to be fair, but we're getting there, picking away at the jobs, and yeah, see how we go from there.
So we have now xDriven. The front subframe is xDrive, front shafts, front arms, drive shafts, diff, carrier on this side. This is the long shaft side, so it needs a carrier. We got a new steering column. Obviously the rack is different because it's in a different place. Engine mounts we've transferred over. The engine is the same. Gearbox obviously is different. So we've made our changes up here. Prop shaft is an unknown as of yet. We'll deal with that in a bit. All we need to do is, if we end up somewhere close, we need to put Reese's Mechatronics, so the gearbox brain essentially, needs to go in this one. And then we'll see about the rest. I'll tell you when we get there. Right, frankly,
Yep.
That's out to 10 mil, that one.
Is it?
Give you that little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah.
I'll come down and we'll get close.
We've got a bit of room yet, Joe.
Yeah, we'll...
I can guide it this far. Oh.
Oh. Steering shaft to guide in.
Yeah. Good.
Right.
Fuck! Recovered.
Yeah, the heat shield for the steering shaft,
Yeah,
might be a bit displaced, because if you remember when I removed it, it took a big one.
It needed
so
adjusting,
just make
didn't
sure
it?
it does clear.
Yeah. Well, what I'll do is I'll just go that way with it. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he has. He's fed the pony before, that's for sure. Squeal.
Steering shaft is shaft and housing. It's out of the way.
Have we got any spare coolant pipes?
Which ones, mate?
The one that goes on the subframe
There will be somewhere.
is different.
Joe's on it. Is it?
Is different. Coolant pipe. This coolant pipe here lives on the subframe. Evidently doesn't fit anymore. So obviously there's a bulge in the subframe there on the rear wheel drive that now we've got a different shape subframe because of drive shafts. That's, no, not that one.
Not that one.
No, this one that has to go on first. Physically has to go on first. No, I think that was one of them.
Was it? He's got it. He's got it. It's connected to the world, but he's got it.
Might make a mess.
All right, don't worry about it.
So you'll be able to get that on after.
Yeah.
Once a touch of grease in there.
Yeah. Wait there. I can now go back if you need me to.
It definitely does.
Right. Are we shimmying? Yeah. Ooh, fucking hell.
Too far, I'd say.
Yeah. Ooh,
Somewhere in that ballpark.
yeah, somewhere there.
We are a little bit skewy, but
Which way?
you're too far forward. Well, not too far forward, but you're further forward than Rob is on this side. That's fine.
Right.
Yes, is?
Yeah.
Give it a bit more then, Rob.
Front pipe, Al, you clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe wants to check the bay.
Just bear with me a second, I just need some lubricant.
Haven't touched that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, one more. Probably
Coolant line, Joe. Coolant line. In front of, I think.
one more.
That line might be a little bent.
One more.
The one that goes on the top of the cooler here. This line here
Oh, that one.
might be a little bit out of shape. Can I have
Yes.
just a little nudge more?
Yeah. I think yes, Rob. Joe?
There's a bag of brand new bolts upstairs. It should be xDrive.
Well, you can just let go of it. All right.
Potentially need the factory ones as well. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's now got its xDrive parts in the chassis. The gearbox, transfer case, engine, all the shaft, it's all in. We've done our bit that we needed to do to make it fit. So yeah, physically, it's all there.
The unknown really is the wiring and the coding
Yeah.
and functionality really. Wow, that's now
That's just gone in. So yeah, it's now a case of basically trying to identify the bits that are different, the bits that aren't different, and just working through it to see what we need to get, what we already have that we can make work.
we've only planned for what we knew we would need, which is basically the xDrive kit. So yeah, once we button this up now and get it back to a point where it's happy to hang about and there's not stuff under tension and stuff, then we'll start looking into things we haven't got.
Oh, that car's moving.
Yes,
The car is
sorry.
now getting further away from me.
Yes, yes, yes.
I can't afford that.
Yes, yes, yes.
You're so fucking pedantic, you are.
Listen,
Listen, Linda.
Linda, listen.
That's the way we like it.
Well, I think my shaft might be. There we are, just a little
tap.
bit of British beef.
That's a fucking big bit of British beef. Similar to... I'll use that one for now.
Is that your sorted, organised pile?
Well,
That's everything.
when
off
you
the
take
M2.
everything off a car to put everything back on, it's quite nice to be able to see, in fact, where it's all going. It's maybe sorry, it's all right. I'll just adjust it now. I'll just get the little adjustment tool.
Right.
I'll just give it a little adjustment now with this little tool here.
So this is where all of the unknown stuff really begins. We knew that the subframe and things were going to fit. It's pretty obvious, that is, in fairness. Obviously, sensors and stuff, it's, to me at least, fairly obvious that you're going to have to change them. We've now got something in the way and the sensor doesn't come out the back of the hub anymore. So it's got to be loads longer, which is why we're using all factory brackets and factory routing where we can, but in terms of coding and will these different sensors communicate, this is where all the unknown stuff sort of begins, really. Next, just button up what we can do, the simple stuff, plug in the coolant lines, and as you saw when we were fitting it, we found one straight away that was different. So button up what we can, make a list of what we can't, and see if we can come up with a solution as to why we can't, or if we need to make things go down that route. Right, my shaft, evidently, now we've added this big section on here, is too big. So this is what we knew about to begin with. That with this doesn't exist, so there isn't one we can put on to make it fit immediately. We're going to have to think more into that. That's one of the things we knew about. But as I say, we can continue with coding and wiring and things even when that's not on, because you shouldn't really drive it, but on the ramp we can test it. Your xDrive will still work even if that's not connected. So we'll get front wheels turning. We'll have the world's first front wheel drive M2 just to test it until we can get a prop. We'll probably end up getting some guy down to take measurements and things, and these exist. So people who do upgraded props, this sized thing exists, so we'll get them to make one that length with these ends, and then we'll be golden. It might even come down to adapting this one if we're not going serious power right now. There's nothing wrong with that one. As we know, M3s take a good bit of pain. X3s are starting to suffer, but M3s seem to be all right on stock props for the moment. So yeah, that's the unknown, and that's where we're going with it.
And in fact, confirm I'm like covered in juice.
It's horrible in the car. Quite frankly, horrible.
Horrible.
Lovely. Right, so that's the Mechatronics all done. See you in a bit. Yeah. What we've just done, if we're still going, is we've taken Reese's rear-wheel drive Mechatronics and put it in the xDrive gearbox, just for ease of immobilisation. We haven't got any coding to do with regards to the gearbox coding now, because it'll just think that it's still a thing. It won't know about the xDrive just yet.
How's your drill after you dropped it, pal?
Working. It just had a little bit of a brain fart though, just as we were doing that. And it is like 3 weeks old.
Yeah, because he fucked the other
I
one.
fucked the last one, yeah. Not physically, obviously.
You didn't literally fuck your gun, though. Is that what you're saying?
I think it might be implied that I am, in fact, sexually attracted to tools. So all the hardware, all the little snippets and clippets you've seen from before is now in. It is essentially an xDrive car now. The things holding us back is wiring, prop and coding. We're going to put some airboxes in imminently, and then we could fill it with coolant and oils and we could go for the key. There's not a great deal of point, to be honest, because we're not going to be able to drive it. As I say, we did our changes, we did our checks. We've got a great part system handy, so we can quickly go back into and check things. Tom's pre-bought all these bits for us to have on hand to try them immediately.
And as you've already seen with stuff like the coolant pipes, you know, stuff was going to be different as we went along.
We're going to go for a battery. We've disconnected the coils. Obviously, we've disturbed the engine, so we're going to prime some oil through. So I'll just go and chuck the battery on. Tom will jump in. We'll do a quick oil prime, and then we'll connect the coils. We'll go for it. We'll see what'll happen. Battery connected. You should now be able to crank it, but it won't start.
Okay, let's see. Cranking. It's always a good sign.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously now we're all fluided up. We should now be able to go for it.
It's alive! Unbelievable! Wow, now that is... See, it's back on the stock tune now because it's the cold start's on, so it's alive.
We've got some warning lights.
Yeah, there's a lot of warning. There's a lot of warning lights.
Right.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a Christmas tree, but it's fine.
Just have a check underneath.
Send her up then, shall we? Yeah.
Leaks and whatever.
I'll wait in here.
So, bit of fluff. Transfer case. Gearbox. Front prop. Front diff. Arms and drive shafts in an M2. Sounding good, looking good, nothing hosing at the bottom of it, which is always good. Cool. Okay, so first test basically, will it drive? It's got a bit of a cobbled homemade prop shaft on it at the moment. We need to measure up and order one basically, but let's just see if it'll go into gear and move as an xDrive for the first time.
It moves.
Unbelievable.
It's alive. Can you believe it?
So big movements. We've just seen it drive out under its own power for the first time, which is brilliant. No weird noises with my dodgy prop shaft. Let's see if all four wheels are turning now. So back on the ramp. Tom's just going to take the traction off into gear, and then we'll go for it. We'll see. Have we got xDrive? Still not coded. Just remember, still not coded.
So let's see what she does. So we'll just turn the traction off first. And the iDrive, put it into drive, let's see what happens. What are we saying?
Got all four.
Really?
Got all four. xDrive M2.
Unbelievable. Bet I got too mad on that prop.
No. Still no coding whatsoever, so it bodes well. Where are you, BMW? Most important part of the whole job for me, really, the part I don't have to do. Coding. So we're remoted in now. The specialists on board with that. Probably going to be here all night because it's a big old job, never been done. What I can give you a sneak peek of, G87 M2, ooh, VTG, so that's the transfer case. So now we're going to get the specialist to code in the transfer case to the car, which that's the tricky bit really. M2 with transfer case doesn't exist. And the steering rack, we've had to swap that obviously to an xDrive variant, so that'll have to be coded as well, but that's quite simple.
What's happening all?
Yeah,
we are
we'll see how it
finally
goes. Long
going
night
to collect the xDrive M2. So Tom and his team have been absolutely amazing, as well as my team over at R44. While I've been away, Tom and the R44 team have been working, supplying all the parts, getting the xDrive ready. And yeah, we're on our way. We're in the M3 Touring, single turbo. Let's have a couple revs. All painting in the back. So if you don't know, this is our M3 Touring. It's single turboed, it's shy of 800 horsepower, it's on air ride, and it was our massive marketing campaign for last year. And as you know, the M2 is this year and next year. So let's get to Tom's and let's have a look. time has come. Wow, I've missed this car. Wow. Tommy boy.
Hello, mate.
Yes, lad. The wizard.
You all right?
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Wow.
Been a while.
Mate, I missed this car like,
I know.
you've smashed my splitter.
Yeah, the smashy splitter, mate.
Yeah, the old daily. So tell me what's
Tell
been
it.
done, and I want to hear it pretty much. So run us
Hear
through.
it, see it. So yeah, full xDrive conversion now. All fully functional, switchable, on the fly, from standstill, everything, mate. Full OEM conversion, really. So it's done, mate. Ready for action, really.
Sick. Let's start it up. I want to hear it, and then we'll run through some next steps, and then we'll talk. Yeah, we'll go from there. I'm just too excited. I just need to see it drive.
There's a lot to take in, isn't it?
All right, so obviously all I want to see is full wheels. It's mad to think this car has been in so many pieces over the last couple of weeks. Yeah.
All right.
Mad. That's crazy. That is nuts. Wow. I actually love M2s because they are rear-wheel drive. So it's quite crazy. We'll go into it in a minute, but we'll talk about what's next for this build, because we didn't just want to build a four-wheel drive M2 to drive around as a daily. It's a little bit more safe, but we're going to build something special. So let's get Tom out of the car. Let's run through some few facts and figures, and then, yeah. All right, so Tom wouldn't let me go without having a little look at the masterpiece underneath. So yeah, we've got, talk us through it. What's new?
It's all OEM converted, obviously. Gearbox is swapped. Props are done. We've got front subframes, hubs, shafts, axles.
See loads of new arms as well.
It's all fresh, mate. New steering rack. Obviously the sump, front diff. There's a lot changed, mate. And obviously all the wiring, which had to be swapped. So all that works. Obviously you've got your transfer case here, that wired in. Coding, and it's a big old job. It's not for the faint-hearted.
So
obviously these parts are not easy to come by. I mean, it's like trying to find xDrive cars that are split in, and you know, these things aren't cheap to do. But no, it's done, and it's awesome. I can't wait to see how it goes and just actually see how much more performance you're going to gain over an xDrive G80.
Yeah. So next step. So I think. Next episode is actually episode 4, which we'll do a first drive. I think, what do you think? Leave it in stage 2? Because this car, I was looking back at it the other day, 730 horsepower.
It was an animal.
Yeah, from a stage 2.
9.6 quarter mile. It was a proper bit kit.
Yeah, so we'll do that. We'll drive it first, see what it does on a stage 2, and then I think we're gonna
full send.
Do, as you saw in episode 1, we're gonna build a race car for Texas 2K. So we're gonna strip the whole car again and start beginning a full drag build.
Yeah, so it should be awesome. Can't wait.
Anyways, see you all later.